Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Podcast, formerly Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Harris, and today I'm talking to Cathy Mays. Cathy is the author of a number of books, all in different genres and all non-fiction. White Horses and Sunbeams, Matt and Pandora, Out of the Quill Box, and published most recently, Wallace and Me, the story of your meeting with Wallace the horse. Today we will be mostly chatting about Wallace and Me. Let's find out some more. Hi Cathy, first of all welcome and thank you for coming back to talk to me on Book Talk Podcast.
Thank you, good to be here.
Cathy, having retired, you decided it was time to have your own horse again, and so the story began when you met Wallace. Tell us about Wallace. What breed of horse is he and how old is he?
Wallace is a wonderful animal. He's 16 hands. He's an Irish sports horse, so 50% thoroughbred, 50% Irish draft. He's big, he's powerful, but he has the most gentle soul. I refer to Wallace as my veteran horse. He doesn't look it, and he doesn't behave like it, but he's 27 years of age, equivalent to 78 years in human terms. He's dark brown, almost black, though he has brown dapples in the summer months, and he's got a light muzzle and white feet on his back legs.
I have to ask, what's an Irish sports horse?
It's the cross between the Irish draft and the thoroughbred.
Ah, right.
With Wallace, he's got a very fine head. He's got the strength of the Irish draft, but he'd be very fine.
You've been around horses most of your life, in fact since you were 4 years old, and I understand that you trained at one of the top establishments in the UK. What did you train for?
Yeah, when I was about 4, I had my first ride. Then as a child, I regularly rode until I was about 12, when I had my own first horse. He was 3 years old, a bay, and called Bentley, and he was beautiful, he was stunning. At 16, I left school and went to Talent School of Equitation in Cirencester as a working student. I trained for my BHSAI, which stands for British Horse Society Assistant Instructor. At the time, to be a full instructor, you had to be, I think it was 25. And I was interested in running a yard, so that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I'd already signed up to go to college at 18. I loved my time at Talent. It was really hard work, long hours, and I learnt so much. I looked after some amazing horses and worked for inspiring riders and competitors.
Whilst you did not follow a career with horses, you have enjoyed teaching and supporting children and young people who wanted to learn to ride and those who wanted to school and develop further skills. Firstly, what is the first thing a novice rider needs to learn? And secondly, what are the further skills?
In my opinion, the first thing that a novice, as in a new rider, needs to learn is how to build a trusting relationship with their horse or whichever horse they're riding. This can happen quite quickly. It's how you approach and communicate with the horse, how you use your voice, how you touch, and the physical stance that you have towards them. Where there's an opportunity to spend as much time as you can, do everything that you can with your horse. Mucking out, holding them for the farrier, grooming, just everything towards getting to know them and building a bond. It will benefit you both, whether it's on the ground or whether it's when you're riding. It will also give confidence in each other and a sense of partnership. Observing your horse is so important as you learn about their behaviours, their fears and their responses. And the riding stables that offer stable management and time alongside lessons are offering people, particularly young people, the whole package, learning together and building relationships. Further skills, I would say, are about learning for the more advanced and complex riding. So once somebody's learned the basic skills, where they can happily ride around an arena have a lesson, go for a hack, know the transitions, and feel comfortable about that, they may then want to go on to the next stage. They may want to start working towards showing their horse, show jumping or cross country. And the next step is learning how the rider's position influences the balance and movement of the horse, and working together to achieve greater balance. For example, how to use your seat and legs, as well as where you look, the direction you look, will determine the balance of your horse when you ask him to canter, approach a jump, and how he lands in order to take the next jump. How you position yourself affects the horse's balance and his ability to achieve your expectations. So it's all about partnership.
It's interesting you're saying about the balance, because when I've been out in the States, I've ridden using a Western saddle. Have you used a Western saddle? Have you found a difference using a regular?
I never have. I never have. It's something I would love to do one day.
It's really comfortable.
They look amazing.
They are. You also broke in horses of your own and for other people, though you prefer to call it starting horses. Breaking in a horse sounds awful. What does it involve?
I think, first of all, breaking in is perhaps a traditional and somewhat out of fashion title. And I'm hoping that people are beginning to start talking about starting horses, which is, it's taking account that other people have very different attitudes to horses. Is about where you start. So breaking in summons up the Wild West and bucking broncos, whereas starting a horse suggests a beginning and with plan to move forward. The aim is to build a partnership with the horse, observe behaviour, and communicate with the horse. The last thing anyone should do is break the spirit of a horse. Time spent building confidence and trust is time spent well. If a horse does something unexpected, you need to ask yourself why. A simple example might be when the horse first has a saddle put on its back, it will need to adjust its movement to find balance. Even more so the first time a person sits on their back. They may move to the side or move backwards initially, get themselves in a position to cope with that new feeling. This would be a natural response to feeling more comfortable and to manage this new experience, and should be allowed, not punished. Horses are intuitive and majestic. They're survivors. They've been around 50 million years, and they will react to what they see as a threat. The main thing in my book is to be calm, be confident, communicate with your horse, never resort to anger or abuse, be firm and fair.
You have a philosophy about working in partnership with horses. Would you like to tell us about it?
I believe that both humans and animals learn in partnership. Forcing information and rules rarely, if ever, works, particularly in the long term. Time spent building a relationship will pay dividends. When you've spent time getting to know the horse and observing behaviours, you will have a much better idea of what makes the horse comfortable and relaxed, or anxious and ready to take flight. Horses will always be stronger than us. Good communication, trust and respect for our horses will make our lives and theirs easier and so much happier.
It's the same as getting to know a person, isn't it? And if you want to become friends with a person, there's got to be a certain amount of respect on both sides, a give and take, and you know, that to me that's how it is with animals.
Absolutely, totally agree.
Why did you decide to write and publish your story, Wallace and Me?
I think it was really just because Wallace is such a special horse, and I wanted to share our story with other people. Wallace now has a companion called Barney, And observing them both build their relationship and bond has been an intriguing experience. Keeping horses and ponies is hard work, and you have to be committed to the routines that are involved. There's not always enough time to stand and observe. I've been so lucky that I have the time now to do that, and I wanted to share what I'd seen.
So who is your target reading audience for Wallace and Me? In other words, who will enjoy it?
I would hope anyone who loves horses.
Well, that's a good enough answer.
It's an easy read, and I wouldn't even be worried about ages of reading. I think it's something adults can share with children or children can read.
Let's touch briefly on your other books. Out of the Quill Box. What's all that about, Cathy?
The Quill Box is about my journey to find my birth parents. It culminated in a 30-year roller coaster ride to meet some of my extended birth family, and then a wonderful trip across South Africa, visiting the country where my father lived and worked for 25 years of his life.
Matt and Pandora, one reviewer says, a delightful account of a young boy getting to know his pony. Tell us some more, Cathy.
Matt is my second grandson, and his first pony, Pandora, arrived when he was 7 years old. They were both very young and were both learning together. And the story follows how their bond and skills developed over the 18 months, to the point where they were riding independently in pony club events. There are also some hints and tips that adults might want to share to help their children and ponies build a bond and have a lot of fun together.
White Horses and Sunbeams. Love the title, but what's the book about?
The book is about our family, 4 generations living, working, and being diversity of the county, beautiful places and special people. It's about summertime on our farm, ponies, horses, picnics, moorland and beaches. My grandchildren are still able to enjoy all these opportunities as I did and as my children have. So it's a kind of nostalgic journey, I suppose.
I love that. I love that. You've already received some wonderful reviews for your books, including, "This is an amazing and beautifully written book which shows the true determination, stoicism and resilience of the author. That is for Out of the Quill Box. And for White Horses and Sunbeams, a good read for those with their own nostalgia for a time of simpler pleasures and different values. And for Matt and Pandora, lovely written little book learning about not only Matt's bond with his young pony, but also the bond Matt and his granny have. Beautifully illustrated as well." Cathy, lastly, where can Book Talk Radio Club listeners, not Book Talk Radio Club anymore, sorry, Book Talk Podcast, I've still got to get that right, listeners purchase Wallace and Me and of course your other books?
All of my books are available through Amazon, and if anybody would like to follow me on my author's page on Amazon, they'll then be the first to know what books are coming up.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you, Cathy. That was great. And thank you so much for talking to us about your book and experiences. And thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Podcast. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Bye now.